So I've managed to uninstall my old video card from my system. This is the 3GB version of the 1060 from Palette. It's about 3 or 4 years old. It's actually a pretty big card in and of itself. Has 2 fans, but when you can place it next to the 3080 from iGame, as you can see, it is fairly small. On the back of the iGame, I don't know if you can see there is a small boost button, which sets the factory overclock. So with this, if you compare it again to the 1060, it is taller, wider, and thicker. The 1060 did serve me well, old friend. Thank you for the good 3 to 4 years. It's time to hand you off to someone else. And to the 3080, I do hope you and I have plenty more of good years ahead of us. So it's time to install it, and I'll show you how that goes in the next clip. So now I've opened up the side panel of my computer. If your power supply is a modular one, get the cable that says PSU on one end and PCIe on the other. Typically, the PCIe end of these cables has 6 pins plus 2 pins. Those count as 8. Be mindful that if you are getting the iGame 3080, that it does need 3 of these 8-pin cables, while other 3080s need just 2. So once you get 3 of those cables, you'll need to plug the end, labeled PSU, to where it says PCIe on your power supply. Just make sure that the holes align. So now we are going to mount the GPU horizontally. As you can see, I have tied down my cables with the cable ties that came with the power supply. Just to help maintain aesthetics, keep the case nice and neat, I'm also wearing the gloves that came with the 3080. Next thing to do is to very, very gently push in the GPU until you hear the click from the PCIe slot. It's too bad iGame didn't include an anti-sag bracket given the weight of this thing. It is very heavy. If you look at the right side, it is sagging down quite a bit. At the time of the filming of this video, I did order a riser cable to help mount this vertically, but it hadn't arrived yet. Next step is to screw it down tight to hold it in place. Once you've tightened the screws, it's time to install the 8-pin cables. These gloves were getting caught on the velcro of the ties, so I will be removing them in the video. So earlier I showed you how to mount the 3080 horizontally. Now we're going to do it vertically. What you'll need is a vertical stand, which I just showed you there. Mine came with the case. And you'll also need a PCIe riser cable. So what you'll need to do is screw one end of the cable into your vertical stand. And once you do that, you will then fit the other end of the cable into your motherboard where the video card would normally go. Once you've screwed both ends in, you will then attach the vertical stand onto your case. So if your case does come with a vertical stand, there should be slots on the bottom of the case where you can connect it to. I'm not too sure though about aftermarket vertical stands. Simply align the stand to the holes on your case and then screw those in. So full disclosure, I did find out, and this is the big problem I ran into, I did find out that this card is too big for the back of my case. I'll get to that in a second, but what you normally do here is you plug in your video card into the riser cable, and then you would slot in the back of the video card into the back of your case. There should be vertical PCIe slots there, and then you would screw that into place. Unfortunately for me though, that is not the case. This thing is too big to fit in the back. What I had to do was improvise. So here you see the sort of finished product. It is standing and it is steady in place, held there by cables at the top, the power cables, and the video cable at the back, as well as the bracing that it did at the base of the case. You can see the foam there and the screws that are keeping the vertical stand steady. Moving the camera at the back of it, you can see where the riser cable slots to the motherboard, and then moving to the bottom, you can see where the video card slots into the riser cable. Overall, I think it looks quite good. I get to adjust it right in the middle of the case rather than it being tucked towards the back. So this was the moment of truth when I was about to hit the power button. Crossing fingers, and there you go. I really like how iGame or Colorful did the overall aesthetic of the card. It looks very robotic, as Jay's 2 cents mentioned in his video. I like how it appears similar to Iron Man's arc reactor or Gypsy Danger's chest piece from the movie Pacific Rim. Looks really cool and looks really futuristic. So now I've installed the drivers on NVIDIA. Just go to their website, look for the latest drivers for Series 30, and then click the drop-down box, select your 3080, and then install, and you should be good. I've also downloaded the software from iGame, which allows you to monitor the temperature, fan speed, and also other sorts of information of your video card. It then also lets you change the colors and the lighting effects on the center of the card. So looking at it, the first or the default setting is the red pulsing or breathing setting. I just changed it to static and blue to match the rest of my build. I'm currently using an Aorus motherboard with a Phanteks P500A case and Aorus RAM, so that everything is controlled by RGB Fusion 2.0 from Gigabyte. Overall, I think the card looks really good with the rest of my build. I think it matches the aesthetic. I'm very happy with how it looks. I've been wanting to upgrade my PC for a long time. I used to have an i5 and a 1060 3GB. Now I'm on an i7, not the highest i7, but good enough. And now I also have the latest, or one of the latest video cards on the market. Very happy with this. It's been a long dream of mine to have a high-level computer rig, and to be able to get it now is, well, it's quite a dream come true. Thanks for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it was helpful to you, and cheers to many more games to come. Thanks everyone.